This game made me mad and also sad, but I guarantee you it's in a good kind of way. Also, I really want to avoid spoilers, so this may be a short one. The Beginner's Guide is a narrative-driven game about its creator, Davey Wreden, who just so happens to also be the creator of the Stanley Parable. In it, you play through a collection of small games made by one of his friends as Davey narrates, telling the story of someone struggling with something that he just doesn't understand. Similar to the Stanley Parable, there's not actually much gameplay here. Throughout the many small games that you'll play, the closest thing to gameplay is the various interactions that you'll be doing. There's no challenge, no failed states, and only one real puzzle that's repeated a few times. Also similar to the Stanley Parable, the Beginner's Guide is in no way about the gameplay. This is a game that focuses entirely on the story and a myriad of messages that are left up to the players to interpret. And I have to say, it does so better than many other narrative games that exist. Again, I want to make it clear that I'm avoiding spoilers, so I can't talk too in-depth about the plot, and by extension, the game, but I'll say what I can. The story itself is honestly more than enough for the Beginner's Guide to stand on, which is great given the lack of gameplay I just mentioned. It's a very mature story and message for a game to handle, and I feel that it's delivered incredibly well. You get information at the right pace, and there are plenty of ups and downs through the whole thing. At its core, the Beginner's Guide deals with things like depression, need, and even creative drive. There are a lot of little details that you'll get throughout the game that, at the end, get a whole new meaning. If you play through a second time, some things will click that you didn't connect before. There's a lot left open to interpretation, and that's just a nice little consequence of how well the story is written. It speaks a lot to Wreden's writing that he's able to craft a story so well and to deliver it in such an interesting manner. Speaking of delivery, it's easy to tell that there's very real emotion behind the things being said and the story being told. The story of the Beginner's Guide is clearly one that Wreden holds close to himself, and one that I feel many people will find relatable in at least some small way. I'd absolutely love to go into more detail about my own interpretations of the story and my thoughts on its messages as a whole, but that's something for another video. Just trust me when I say that it took me for a ride. And there were a few moments towards the end when some details are revealed and I questioned whether or not I should actually continue playing. I did end up completing it, and I'm very glad that I did, but I have no doubts in my mind that the questions I asked myself, the small doubts I had about continuing, and even the anger I felt at Wreden himself were all a part of the plan. Despite Beginner's Guide being built on an older looking version of the source engine, there's still plenty of visual fidelity. You'll venture through many different environments, each with its own tone and message to convey. The soundtrack is really what makes each area though. The music evokes just the right emotions, whether that be wonder, sadness, or even curiosity. The Beginner's Guide is about an hour and a half long, and while that's pretty short for a game, I feel that it's the perfect length for the story being told. It handles itself in a very mature way, and Davey Wreden's delivery drives everything home as he touches on very meaningful topics for many people. It's a beautiful adventure that left me thinking, and something I feel most people should play. If you enjoyed the Stanley Parable, or enjoy narrative games in general, then you are in for one hell of a ride. You can get the Beginner's Guide for $10 on Steam. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go question the value of my existence. Thanks for joining me for this episode of Indie Bytes. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please remember to leave a like and subscribe for more. If you've got any indie games I should check out, then please shoot them my way. You can leave a comment down below or drop me a line on Twitter. My handle's @forkh. Or you can shoot me an email at fork4h@gmail.com. I'll see you next time. Bye!